5 of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores, and we are in Maitland, gateway to the Hunter Valley wine region and 42 kilometres northwest of the picturesque seaside city of Newcastle. It's not just MX1 serving up in space. MX2, there's been a lot of movement there with a few injuries, and also MX3 Campbell Williams is hanging on to that red plate.
Well, MX2, let's briefly touch on that to start with. Wilson Todd on the Honda HRC machine continues to do what he's been doing and stretch out that points lead. Very difficult for his competitors, but yes, you're correct. Missing in action, a couple of big stars out of the blue crew. Ryder Kingsford, let's start with him. He's been a revelation this year up in the top 5, the young gun, and he has completely destroyed his knee, unfortunately, so he'll be out for the season. Also with the Yamaha riders, Alex Larwood, who's been the next fastest to Wilson Todd all season. He has got a major shoulder injury, but it's a bit of a weird one. It's not bone, it's not ligament, it's nerve damage, and he can't even lift his arm up properly. So very scary for the Yamaha crew, and our thoughts go out to him for sure.
Well, let's crack in and go for a burn around the Maitland track with local motocross hero and expert commentator Danny Ham.
Welcome to this week's Michelin track preview here at Maitland, and as you can see straight off the start, we have had a change from last year through this first corner that is now straightened up a lot more and into a bit of a double apex. One thing that we do notice as we ride around is just simply how loose this surface is at the moment. As we see, the ground below me is ripped up very deep, very chunky dirt at the moment and quite loose as well. As we work our way into this big, fast right-hand sweeper now, you can see there's no real lines that have been formed just yet. Single bike out on the track, we're not going to get a lot done. Big jump as we land off that one and down this very long straight. Now, once they throw the water into this, many, many ruts leading into this one. And you can see already just below me, those ruts are starting to form, or at least some lines right now. Another thing on the inside, just have a look at this. It's a bit of an off-camber corner, so a couple of changes for the track this year. Up and over this one into the split section of the track, you can see we've got the inside and outside lines. It's going to be very interesting to see how we land off these ones and get through which will be the fastest line. Bit of bog hole there. Just make our way through these rollers down to the very back part of the track. And again, look for this inside line. You can see just there the dark bit of dirt already. We're starting to get some ruts forming up into the fast sweeper. Now this is so much fun. Work our way through there and into the second last turn before we get to the finish line again. No ruts, but this berm that was there last year has been made very flat, so that should even up this corner just a little bit. We make our way through towards the finish line. Big run into this one and up and over. A couple more turns to complete the lap though, as we make our way through these tight rights. Plenty of ruts last year. I expect to see the same again. Cross the start line right here and into this last turn before we have just one more tabletop, and then we will rejoin to complete the lap here at Maitland. It is going to be very, very ruddy, no doubt, once I get the water in, and that there is your Michelin track preview.
Let's take a look at the lineup. MX3 Moto 2, thanks to Max's tyres. Connor Towell, our pole setter earlier on in the day. Campbell Williams, can he turn his day around here in Moto 2? Caden Minia, will he be able to keep his form going? Byron Dennis, Ryan Alexanderson, the list goes on.
Key there, it was 12th quickest earlier on in the day. Flynn also a long way back, but that's not how it would eventuate in the end of the race as we see our riders on the line, almost ready to get Moto number 2 underway. The tensions are high. This start, all important as the bikes get set to get this one underway. Moto number 2, Max's MX3. Who's going to come out with the whole shot? Man, they're holding the gates long today, I tell ya.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure who's controlling that start button today, but another awesome jump out of the gate for Campbell Williams. He has got his second hole shot from 2 starts, and once again,
is this a repeat?
If it wasn't for Campbell Williams running completely different coloured riding gear, and also,
he stalled it.
He stalled the motorcycle. Oh no, that is devastating for the Honda rider. He's just sitting there going, oh, what is going on here? Get her into neutral.
How impressive that no one hit him.
Right.
Oh,
and that's Caden Caden Minia.
And he's gone down.
He has gone down.
Oh, no,
he's not. He's ridden it out.
How did he not lay on the ground there? I have no idea. That back end slid out on the up ramp, that really hard ground. As we look at the Matrix concept whole shot award, of course, going to Campbell Williams, but unfortunate for him, turn 2 would bring him undone.
Yo, I'm interested to know if he has that bike going again. Was that a stall or did the bike stop? Because he put his hand up in the air just as we went off him on camera. Be interested to see if he's back up and going again. But Connor Towell is staring down the barrel. I know we're in the early stages here of Moto 2. He's staring down the barrel of a win-win here. We got, once again, these guys are confusing me with coloured riding gear. Jack Mather in second place has gone from blue gear to red. So, but that riding style is very easy to pick up, and he is all over the back of Connor Towell at the moment.
Well, Birchall up there, so Birchall in third place, and also Ryan Alexanderson. I did see actually Holroyd looked like he has made that pass. He was sitting there in third place, a name that we did briefly talk about in the first moto, but saying that we expect to see him up the front more as these riders just work their way through these ruts. And I can see a couple of mistakes at the moment by Towell. He does need to find his feet so that he can continue to run away with this one.
All right, let's take a quick look at the Honda replay of our start, and another brilliant hole shot from Campbell Williams as he launched his way into that first turn, and once again company from Connor Towell. But let's have a look here. Just stopped. I don't believe that that was a stall. I believe that that was some form of a drama there. We'll try to bring you more information there. How did Caden Minia hang on to this side saddle all the way up and over? That is Ricky Carmichael-esque from back in the day, just not willing to let it go. Ride it all the way to the ground, RC always used to say, and that was the kind of attitude that we saw there from Caden Minia. And here we have it. Ryan Alexanderson, that looked to be, and we can see on screen at the moment, Byron Dennis, number 23. I know I briefly touched on it before, but for those of you at home, just a little bit of extra information there for you. If the riders here in the MX3 class have yellow numbers on the bike, they're a junior. If they have white numbers on the bike, they're a senior. So this MX3 class allows our oldest 2 age brackets for juniors to be able to race up in this sensational class, and of course the youngest 2 categories of seniors, so if you're 16 and 17 years of age. So a brilliant thing here for Australian motocross, and getting lots of pats on the back around the world.
There is the 22 machine trying to open up that gap, but I'll tell you what, Mather is a different rider in this race. He really looks like he's got the bit between his teeth at the moment. But let's head back down to Kate, who's got Campbell Williams.
Yeah, Campbell, so what happened out there?
I got the whole shot and went around the first turn and started to bog, and then it just locked up on me and doesn't want to start, so I honestly don't know what's wrong.
Okay, working that through now.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate news for Campbell Williams, and he's copped that on the chair. He would have to be devastated. Right up until that point, yeah, he had a not the greatest Moto 1, but he was still well and truly in the championship hunt. Only 9 points off that lead. This is going to give Caden Minia a massive championship points lead here. Now, Caden Minia has already worked his way up to 8th place, but he has come from as far back as 14th when I first scanned my eyes down after his side saddle rodeo little ride there on lap 1. He's already started to make his way up there, and he's in 8th place. So anywhere up in the top 5 will be fantastic. Anywhere higher than top 5 in this will be, you know, hats off to you.
Right behind him is Riley Fitzpatrick. That was Byron Dennis there, sorry, in the 23, and then Riley Fitzpatrick just there, just in front of Minia, who you were speaking of. So got them 2 different lines going on. Oh no, down goes Byron Dennis. There was Alsop coming through, so unfortunate for Dennis. Again, that's the same outside slop, mudfest. Oh, that was Alexanderson almost going down exactly the same spot, so it has brought a lot of riders undone, that particular line today. If we just look at the outside once again, the next rider to come over. Oh no, there he is right there. yeah, just slid out in that mud.
And right up the inside, like on a set of rails, was Caden Minia on the far inside, making up another position there. So that'll slot him up into 8th place, and I dare say, actually no, that'll pop him up into 7th now as the timing screen catches up. So up at the head of the pack, Connor Towell ahead of Jack Mather and Seth Birchall. Great ride back there in 3rd place. The fastest lap of the race so far, Connor Towell 151.9. No one else is really anywhere close to him at the moment. Ty Keane, the only one in the 152s to be anywhere near him. So can Ty Keane make a charge and get back up into a 2nd place overall? He'll be brilliant if we can see that.
Well, that's exactly my point, coming off the back of what you were speaking of there, Lee, was the fact that I think Keane is going to be the one that will be the rider to challenge any more positions up the front here. It has obviously taken Connor Towell a couple of laps to find his feet. He's just set his fastest lap on that very last lap that he's done. So he is starting to open up that lead over the rest of them. But I feel this guy on screen, he is the man that is going to challenge these next 2 positions. We saw it at a previous round, how fast he was, especially at the end of the moto. He's very strong. So I think here could be the good battle coming up.
Confidence is a dangerous thing, isn't it?
Oh, the leader's down.
Oh,
sorry.
Connor Towell, he's thrown it down, and that's that dream run. He's got enough pace to get up and going again if he can regain his momentum, but he's going to come under siege. I believe number 28, Cooper Holroyd, someone that we mentioned earlier on. Now let's have a look here. We'll see a bit of a replay. That's that outside.
Just double dab there with the foot, that outside line.
But I tell you what, a rider who hasn't lost pace is Seth Birchall. He's all over the back of Jack Mather. And likewise for Ty Keane, he's going around the outside and hoping to open up a pass here, and he does. Slots in. He's the Honda sandwich in amongst the Husqvarna and the Yamaha back in 3rd place now. It is looking good for the Honda rider. Can he find a line here in this right-hander that is so slippery? Beautiful drive out of the corner.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't going to do that as he came through the slot, but then that drive through
Well, you know what
woods.
he did? He managed to turn off and use the embankment just before it turned into slop, rather than try to turn with that front wheel in the slop. So a brilliant move there. Just needs to keep calm enough. Let's have a look at this replay here. It'll first of all show this beautiful pass where, watch Ty Keane swoops around the outside and then out of nowhere comes into screen, slots into that 2nd place, and then it sets up from this split section here.
Yeah, great drive out of the mud area there, just getting that back wheel on the ground pretty early, and nice move up the inside. So Keane now is starting to open up that lead already. You can see right there in front of him that the gap, 1.6 seconds in a matter of corners, has already stretched out. Birchall needs to step it up right now.
So Danny, at 6 minutes to go in this race, and we've already managed to drop nearly a 2-second lead now from Ty Keane back to Jack Mather. At what stage do we start to think about, well, hey, I'm staring down the barrel of an overall win here? For Ty Keane, his first ever career win in a national event. At what stage should he start to think about that and perhaps, you know, take the focus off what he's doing on the track at the moment?
Yeah, it's hard to say right now. I think he just needs to keep pushing forward, and I think you'll agree with me, Lee. If he starts to think about that right now, it's going to open up that opportunity for mistakes and some issues. As we see the pass being made finally there by Seth Birchall, so he's got himself into 2nd place. Mather goes back to 3rd. But yeah, you're right. At some point in this race, you've got to think he knows he got 2nd in the first moto, and he's in the lead right now, and he's on track for his first overall, and being the first overall, certainly at some point he's got to be thinking about it. Let's head back down to Kate.
I've got Christy Keane here, Ty Keane's mum. Christy, talk us through your nerves, but also how Ty's doing.
Well, hopefully better than me. No, he's riding well. Let's just hope he can stay there and stay calm. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Lovely lady, Christy Keane, and it was very honoured to have Ty actually alongside Campbell Williams. Both of those boys were teammates riding for my Honda Junior team for a couple of years in a row before COVID came along and struck us. So great to see Ty Keane staring down the barrel of this victory here. It definitely puts a big smile on my face. It's managing to stretch that lead out just ever so slightly again to 2.1 seconds over Seth Birchall, but a rider that we haven't really mentioned too much about is Caden Minier. He snuck his way up into top 5, which I mentioned earlier in the race. Danny, if he can get into the top 5, wow, really good job. Any further up than top 5, tip of the cap to you, and he finds himself just 1 second behind Connor Towell. And I think, knowing the rider that Caden Minier is, he will put all kinds of pressure on and I dare say move up into that top 4 position.
Yeah, well, Minier took 1.5 seconds out of Towell's gap that last lap around, and Minier actually set his fastest lap with 4 minutes to go of the race right now. So certainly not slowing down. There is Towell, there is Minier. So I'll tell you what, Towell is going to have a fight on his hands probably within this lap.
Yeah, well, that tells you about the type of rider that Caden Minier is and his mindset and the type of mentality that he has to be such a young rider and have the future that he does ahead of him, but to be so rock solid, the kind of riding, and you've witnessed it enough as well, Danny, to know that the kind of riding that he does, it doesn't matter if he gets a good start or he gets a bad start. It's almost like what we've been seeing with Hunter Lawrence over in America, how they just don't slow down at the end of the race. You know they're just going to be like a pit bull. They're just going to be gnawing at you at the end of the race and not give in. He's not the kind of rider you want to have all over the back of you for the last few laps.
Heading down towards the sandiest part of the track. I wouldn't call it sand turn this year. Quite choppy, a lot of square edges. You see Minier there trying to sweep his way around. And Towell just hasn't been able to regroup like we expected he may have with the speed that he had earlier on after that little tip over. Unfortunate for him. But
totally different lines there and up the inside for Caden Minier. And it was interesting in practice, they were able to jump that going to the inside here. And this will quite potentially be a passing move, but no, that inside's really getting quite tricky now, Danny.
Not this lap, but I think if he's still there on the next lap, he will be close enough this time to make that pass.
Yeah, a lot of the ruts here today, and I think you were saying before you were speaking to Dean Ferris that a lot of the ruts, they look really nice, but they don't have a good shape to them. They've got bumps, they've got hooks in them, and look, ruts are difficult enough as it is to make it through like you're on a set of train tracks anyway, but all of a sudden when you start to throw hooks into them, it makes it really quite difficult, doesn't it?
Very, very hard to get through them smoothly, and that was one of the points that he said, is that you simply couldn't rush today. If you try to rush it, then mistakes happen and you actually go a fair bit slower. So you had to take your time. Of course, you can't just slouch through the corners. You have to still be moving. But, you know, if you tried to push it too hard, then those mistakes came into it too quickly. It slowed you up quite considerably. As we see Mather on screen, he hasn't dropped off the back too much of Birchall. I thought maybe Birchall might have pulled out a little bit, but he's still there.
Well, Danny, I was just going to say in a couple of corners back in the Pirelli right-hander, Jack Mather had a sneaky look over his right shoulder. 2 corners later, in the Autolite left-hander, he has a look over his left shoulder. So what's he looking for? Is he looking to try to see if anyone is reeling him in? We're at the latter stages. He might have pumped up a little bit. You start to stress what's going on behind you rather than what's on ahead.
Yeah, it's a worrying sign, isn't it, when you start seeing the riders looking around like that. Usually means that they're not feeling as comfortable as they have been, and just making sure that there's no one there. But those guys have got quite a lead over the next place behind them, so certainly not something he needs to worry about at all.
Now, perhaps a little mistake from Caden Minier because he finds himself over 2 seconds back from Connor Towell now, and I don't think it's been extra pace found from Connor Towell because he's actually dropped further back from Mather to 8.1 seconds now. So I think a little bit of a mistake there from Minier, but the clock has just caught up now and it's back to 0.6 seconds. So whatever the mistake was, that time has been made up immediately by Caden Minier.
Yeah, I can see it in the background of the shot there. You said it was the 2 seconds which we had on screen, and I can see it. It looks like it was so much closer than that. So obviously some mistakes there early or late in this race have caused them a little bit of grief, but I would think that Minier is going to push it all the way to the very end, and there's a good chance that that pass might be made. Have a look in the background. You should be able to see the next 2 riders just coming into view. There they are. Towell still controls it over Minier, but it is super close between these 2.
Well, a nice handy gap that Caden Minier has in the championship coming into this moto. I think if my memory serves me correctly, it was 9 points back to Campbell Williams. Well, now with this DNF for Williams, it'll be an eternity back. We'll have to figure out who is going to be in second place in the championship. But at the moment, it's looking like if positions stay the same, will be 196 points to Caden Minier, and Jack Mather will make his way up there into second place on 173. And I guess the only one even close to them will be Ty Keane on 155. But yeah, so Campbell Williams already on 171 prior to this DNF. So yeah, a lot of work for these riders to do. Caden Minier will come out of this event here with a mammoth points lead. Even more if he can gain another 2 points in this battle right here.
Doing what he can at the moment and
Last
trying
lap.
to make this pass. Yes, last lap, very important time for him now. So last lap around, he was close. He may be close enough this time if he gets the corner right.
Gone for a slightly better line there, and then this will head him to the outside, and around the outside he didn't quite get that left-hander the way that he would have planned, unfortunately, but he does have a couple of sections in the track through the mid part of the track, does Caden Minier, where he may be able to make the most of a mistake there, which we just saw ever so slightly from Connor Towell, who's just hanging on by the slightest of grasps.
Into the left-hander for the last time. Can Minier make this pass? We see Keane still leads us 2.6 seconds over Birchall, Mather back there, and then this battle right here on screen. Both of these boys really good at scrubbing these tabletops, staying nice and low. Big whips there as they go over, so stylish. Outside.
Head for the outside, around the outside. We saw this earlier on with this beautiful pass from Ty Keane around the outside. Can Minier do it? It's going to be a long shot to come in. He doesn't quite have enough room, but he still has a couple more opportunities.
Almost to the end of this one, so up to the inside.
Very fast through there. And
He
this
was
is going
good here.
Yeah, it'll either he'll make it or he'll crash. It comes through. Oh, a little bit of a mistake. Does he have the slingshot down here? No, he doesn't. And now we are really getting to limited time. What's he going to try up the inside? These ruts in this left-hander that we can't quite see are not great. How's the aggression from Minier up the inside? Trying to force the issue here. These lines are going to come together.
Wow, was that a Honda that we just saw them ride past? The checkered flag goes over.
A fantastic victory there. We just saw a no-legger from Ty Keane, who will take his first ever victory in National Outdoor Motocross. And of course, the Penrite ProMX Championships brought to you by AMX Superstores. What a win from Ty Keane. Take a bow, my friend. It's a fantastic ride for the Honda Genuine Oils Privateer Red Rider.
What a fantastic race for Moto number 2 of the Maxxis MX3. As we see the last few riders just making their way around. That's Hunter Collins on the 664. And Fitzpatrick, I think it is, on the 17. Kilpatrick, I'm sorry. Cody Kilpatrick all the way to the line. So those boys up and over it as well.
So a great job there from Connor Towell to hold off a hard-charging Caden Minier. Will get him right up there on the podium. I believe a strong second place overall. But have a look at Ty Keane. Oh, there we go. There we go. Finally a smile, because I was thinking, wow, it's just kind of, it seems like business as usual for him.
Well, I wonder if he actually did
Even
realise
knew until
that,
then.
until just that second.
All right, let's take a look at the Maxxis Tyres results. MX3 Moto number 2, Ty Keane, what a win and overall. Seth Birchall, second place. Jack Mather in third. Connor Towell in fourth. And a very hard-charging Caden Minier in fifth.
Holroyd up there with 6. Good to see him up there. Fitzpatrick in 7th. Campbell, Alexanderson and Brock Flynn round out the top 10 of this class. Kilpatrick back behind them. Collins, Hantus, Drew, Pierce, Manson, McLean, Alsop, Morgan and Morris.
All right, well, we're not too far away now from the drop of the gate here in Pirelli Moto 2 of the MX2, but let's take a look at the lineup. Wilson Todd, of course, Reese Budd, Jesse Dobson, Noah Ferguson, and Dylan Wills. They're some of our big names here.
There's a lot of big names, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Reese Budd does bounce back for this one.
We're only moments away from seeing the 15-second board on this, the Pirelli MX2 Moto number 2. There it is. I am wondering, Danny Ham, if they are going to hold this gate as long as they have for the last couple of races, because it has caught us unawares both times. It must be at least 5 to 6 seconds.
Yeah, it's caught us unaware, and I know it's caught some of the riders unaware as well. As the bikes rev up again, they've held a very long time.
Very long time.
But jumping out good was Reese Budd there. I did see on the number 3.
Not good was Jesse Dobson. He went sideways, but he's actually coming in reasonably well. He's out there in 3rd place. I do not know how he has managed to get himself up so far towards the head of the pack. And he's
Dobson
tipped it in and ran into the side of Reese Budd 2 times in 2 races in the same corner.
The rookie's gone down as well. Blake Fox, unfortunately, has got involved in the same corner.
Oh, can you believe it?
Devastating start once again. I know Budd was excited to be back here at Maitland after such a good round last time around, but unfortunately for him, it has not gone to plan. Caleb Barham back there in 2nd place on the 16 machine. What a start for him to be up there. Dylan Wills sits there in 3rd place as we try and pick up some of these other riders. The Pirelli whole shot going to Wilson Todd. Will anyone be able to do anything from here?
Well, great to see Dylan Wills back up at the head of the pack once again, but that was unfortunately for Reese Budd. That was no fault of his own. He was minding his own business through the inside of that left-hander, his nemesis, that corner. And I'm just seeing on the lap timing screen over on ours at the moment, Bailey Malkowitz back in 15th place. So not quite sure what happened to him. Obviously a bad start. Don't know if he's come together with another rider. But Dylan Wills at the moment, he's all over the back of Caleb Barham and trying to get himself up into a top 2 position. He's been up towards that pointy end of the field the whole time.
Well, that's Cosford, isn't it, on the 754 just there, and that's Wills just almost off the side of track.
Well,
so he must have dropped back a couple of places,
right,
or has Cosford gone up a couple of places?
Yeah, I'm trying to pick that up because we've also, yes, you're correct, Jace Cosford has gone up there. We see it's saying 5th place, Jai Constantino on the Kawasaki machine.
How's Dobson in 7th after that?
That is ludicrous. I'm wondering how that's happened so quickly. He did get up and running very, very quickly, but the battle here between Jai Constantino, a rider riding for the Empire Kawasaki machine out of Victoria, who has just had terrible starts, hence why we've barely spoken about him all season long. Unfortunately, he copped a 2-position penalty in the first race for an incident, but he's got himself a good start here and finds himself up inside the top 5. He's putting a little bit of racetrack pressure on the back of Dylan Wills. He's got himself a nice inside line.
The riders coming to terms with this very hard, slippery surface. Oh, how's Constantino? Big throw of the bike as they went through there.
Looks like most of his tear-offs are flapping on that right-hand side. Now, we've all done that before where you go to pull one tear-off and about 8 of them come off and ends up flapping on that right side. So the main thing for him at the moment is that he can see, but let's hope he doesn't get roosted too badly.
There is the 14 of Dobson back there, and also, Rodder, we haven't mentioned John Bova as they actually go across our timing loop. Oh, and Wills with a mistake as well. So how are they going to play out of this one? Wills makes a mistake. It looks like Dobson has made that pass up to the inside. Wills very wide, and Dobson trying to put the power to the ground into this sand. Wills is able to get back there. Oh, Dobson again, that front wheel.
He's pushing so hard. He was trying to go for a 2-for-1 pass there, obviously leapfrogging Jai Constantino and Dylan Wills at the same time. But he certainly looks like he's on a mission at the moment. It's kind of a situation where he seems like he's either going to make his way up towards the head of the pack or he's going to throw it down.
Yeah, it's not what you need this early in the race. Looks like possibly Blake Fox just went over. Reese Budd might have just been behind them. No, he's still quite a long way back on our scoring.
Place. I'm baffled as to how he could have come off so badly and be 21st place. Haruki Yokoyama, 22nd.
Yeah, Yokoyama was one of the last to get up. Dobson now clears Dylan Wills and moves up into 4th place behind Cosford as they go into this left-hander that's caught so many people unstuck as well. And the last lap around here, the back end completely out sideways for Jesse Dobson too. on that very hard surface. As we see him going to this right-hander.
And just want to quickly make mention, Danny, as far as fastest lap times go, Jesse Dobson a 151. He's the only rider in the 151s, and then there's a bunch of riders in the 152s.
Now that will explain why we saw him come up so quickly. As we look back to see how far back Reese Budd is, and there he is, just about to go over the jump. Number 3, that's him. He is a long way back, but man, he's got some work ahead of him.
Yeah, he sure does. He has been hit with the unlucky stick this round, that is for sure. But someone that is in no rush to check out from the field is Wilson Todd. He's taking his time, easing his way into this race. He only finds himself a couple of seconds ahead of Caleb Barham, so he certainly isn't throwing ridiculous sprint speed down in these early stages. He's taking his time, trying to get his line sorted. You don't want to make any mistakes in these early stages.
Yeah, we can see there that the battle's starting heating up behind him. And you're right, he is taking his time. It's a smart ride to do this. With the way the track is formed up and what we've seen so far in previous races, the amount of mistakes that the riders have been making, this is a smart way to enter into this one. As we see Dobson looking to the outside just here on Cosford. Can he make this pass? Very close, had to jam on the brakes there.
Had to make a wise decision, or would have ended up with 2 people on the ground. And just to further go on from what we were speaking about Wilson Todd, he's clearly riding within his comfort zone here. Just as I say that, he drops a 150.8, but likewise Jesse Dobson a 150.7. So I think that Wilson Todd has seen the fact that Jesse Dobson is coming, and it's like, all right, I need to wind the wick up a little bit here.
Oh, mistake just there by Cosford going into that turn. He just grabbed some mud and it completely stopped the bike. And Dobson actually had to hit the brakes, otherwise he would have run right into the back end of it, up the inside. Nice move there by Dobson. That was a great line.
Well executed line. He set it up from the entry of that corner, came from outside, swept in towards the inside, made the pass and made it easy.
If you take a look at the Honda replay, look at this from out wide, inside, just like you said, Lee, and picks up that nice inside line. Very smooth, the shortest way around the corner and offering plenty of grip as well. So Cosford starting to work. Will he pick up that inside line that had the pass made on him just earlier? Oh, back end stepping out, these riders. As we take a quick look at another player.
Jai Constantino. He got the start that he was after,
yep,
and then put it down, unfortunately. So not the kind of result that we're after for Jai Constantino, hoping to have his breakout ride here in the series. Off the side of the track there for Dylan Wills, getting very creative with the line there, and will it play out as they come through? You could throw a blanket over these 3 riders here. Nice inside line there, feet up on the pegs all the way through to the exit of the corner, and using that leverage. How's the drive through those rollers?
Yeah, I don't know how he did that manually all the way through.
It was great.
Yeah, good to see. Will's starting to pick up that speed at the moment. They drive down into the long right sweeper. This is really chopped down. I've seen some beautiful lines at the very inside there. It seems like no one has ridden there too much. It's a fresh line, but these guys are managing to make it work as they go towards the finish to knock down another one through Michelin turn just here and towards the finish line once again. There is Dobson up and over. Cosford still back there, is it? No, Barham. So Cosford back there in 5th place now.
Isn't it brilliant, that left AMX Superstores corner, the first of the switchbacks, and then into the right-hander that heads across and takes you adjacent to the start straight. The ruts are so deep here, and the difference in texture from beautiful traction to the slipperiest of surfaces, almost like an ice skating rink.
Lurking in the back there behind these riders is Noah Ferguson. Now we saw some good speed out of him also in race number 1, throwing down some lightning fast times. Dylan Wills does his fastest lap the last time around at a 151.8. Actually quicker than everyone else in the field for that last lap. So Wills maybe just trying to get some momentum going, and it's showing at the moment. There is Dobson.
Now we're starting to see the first of Noah Ferguson back there in 6th place, but he's only 1 second behind Cosford. So can't really emphasise enough how impressive from those 2 privateers, Cosford and Barham. Let's quickly go down to Kate.
Yes, I've got Ben Dutton here, Jesse Dobson's mechanic. Is he riding within his comfort zone? He hasn't let Wilson get away yet.
No, at the moment I think he's just pacing Wilson, so he's in the exact same position as he was in the first moto, so hopefully he can capitalise on it.
great. Thank you.
Yeah, we can certainly see Jesse Dobson's intensity from the moment he made that first lap mistake. We came together with Reese Budd. You could just see that he just charged so hard to get back into that position where he was in 4th place, and then he just had to get past those 2 privateers. He was taking all kinds of risks. You could just see how badly he wanted to get into that 2nd place, where the only rider in front of him was his arch rival Wilson Todd. So over the next 13 minutes plus a lap, we're going to see these two go head-to-head. They're the 2 fastest riders on the track, but does Jesse Dobson have what it takes to be able to reel in Wilson Todd?
Update on Reese Budd, who you mentioned just a second ago. He has moved himself up into 12th, so that's quite a good effort. 11th now, actually, as they go across our timing loop, so he is up to 11th. Still a long way to get up the front. There is Bailey Malkowitz on the 11 machine, just in front of Constantino. Now, I expected to see him up there maybe a little bit more. We didn't see where he was off the start, so possible something happened early on in this race that we've obviously missed. But he is just riding around at the moment in a bit of a lonely race for now.
It was a little bit of an unknown. We didn't know what to expect from Bailey Malkowitz as he came into this particular race, knowing that he barely had no seat time whatsoever coming in off the knee injury. And what a mammoth crash that was at Gilman at the last round. So just to have him here is really, really good. It doesn't help your cause when you get yourself a bad start. But just to see him out there circulating, he looks like the leg's not giving him too much problems. I've watched him closely in a right-hander, a left-hander. He doesn't necessarily seem to be keeping one or the other foot on the foot peg all the time to try to protect it. So that's good news for that knee, and let's hope he can move forward from here.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks too that could easily grab a leg if you weren't ready for it. So just getting around the track just nice and smooth at the moment. Probably the goal for now, and picking up some very valuable points as we see our 1st and 2nd place coming through right there.
That's a beautiful line on the inside from Jesse Dobson. Did you see him tiptoeing his way through? Very similar to what Willsey tried to do right there, but couldn't quite hold that line just as tight.
Sometimes just taking your time around the inside there, you don't have to push it too hard. It becomes a very quick line. So good pickup right there by Dobson. Wills with a little bit of problem in that hook through that rut right there.
Yes, completely different lines there in the Thor right-hander as well before going across the starting straight. And you can see that that's where looking ahead and picking a line that's going to work good. If you take it one lap and it doesn't work, don't take it the next lap. You need to think on the fly and change your lines as you go. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's the really good riders that can almost pick up these lines as they change and change before anybody else picks those lines up.
I think it's a bit of a chess match at the moment too between our 1st and 2nd place. It seems that every single lap, according to our timing, they have matched each other, and both of the riders, 1st and 2nd, have just set their fastest lap of this race. The fastest of anyone was our leader, Wilson Todd. So they have picked up the pace at the moment, the intensity, as we see on the outside, the 29 machine. That is Noah Ferguson, who is coming into this party as well of 4, and he has the chance of making up quite a few places if he can make his way around here. Let's head back down to K-Peck, who's got Kyle Blunden.
Yes, I've got Kyle Blunden here for the KTM Group team manager. Tell us how Dylan Wills is going out there, because he was really disappointed with his last race, made a slight shock change. Give us a little insight as to his performance out there.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to see him coming back through the field. There's been a couple of moments there where he set laps that are fastest on track, and he's coming back through the field really well. So he's currently sitting P3 and sort of sight set on P2 at the moment.
Okay, great. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
Oh, that is not what we want. Halfway through that interview there, we have some kind of drama with Dylan Wills. What is unfolding? There is certainly a bike issue. Dylan Wills looking down to that left-hand side of the bike, and it is all starting to unravel for the New South Welshman. Devastating news. All right, time for a quick break here. When we come back, we'll see the last half of MX2. Welcome back to the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. We're here at Maitland for round 5 of the championships, deep into Moto 2 of the Pirelli MX2 race.
Tried to go around the outside there, but Barham was straight onto it as they go through that corner itself. But you're right, Lee, yeah, concentration at this point. Once you start feeling tired, your brain starts playing games on you and you just make mistake after mistake. Is this Constantino making some passes?
Yes.
Well, one guy that's not worried about his brain not working at the moment is the 44 machine. Looks like he is charging through the field.
Yeah, after a mid-race mistake where we just went, wow, he's fallen back into the clutches, he's had a little bit of a crash, and then he is charging like a madman at the moment. How far can he make his way up through the field? 6th place at the moment. No, make that 5th because he has leapfrogged Noah Ferguson, and next in line will be Caleb Barham. So let's keep our eyes peeled on him. There we see number 11, Bailey Malkowitz, the Serco Yamaha rider.
So I reckon Bailey also has moved up quite a bit. We're going to go down to Kate, who has a bit of an update.
Yeah, the arm pump for Bailey Malkowitz is really what's holding him back. His knee is not an issue, and bike fitness, he just hasn't had enough time on the bike since his accident.
It's a good point too, Lee, and it falls back onto what you were just saying about this point of the race where your brain starts to play games on you. It can also work against you with arm pump. When you start feeling tired, all of a sudden you start thinking about your arms, and all of a sudden your arms feel like they're pumping up, and all of these things play against you. So certainly at this point of the race, fitness is a massive, massive thing. Oh, write it down, just here's Burns.
Oh, Chandler Burns, a rider that we mentioned in the first moto that had a lot of potential. He was right up there in the top 10. He was around 7th or 8th place, just finished out of the top 10, ended up 11th. So let's hope he is okay. He's obviously gone down hard, or he's dabbed a foot. Very devastating news for him here as Jai Constantino continues to charge up through the pack. He's made another pass.
Yeah, up into 4th place. Ferguson again looking at that line to try and make this pass on the 16 machine of Barham. And it looks like, no, again, Barham will come back. But you're right, just looking in the background just there is Malkowitz, Hugh McKay with a good ride, and there is Reese Budd also on the number 3 right behind them. So Budd has come through a long way once again. It gets him inside the top 10, but it's not where he wanted to be at Maitland, that's for sure.
Great charge from Reese Budd, but just unfortunately coming from so far back, there's not much that you can do about that. Now, just to touch on the arm pump issue that you were talking about before, Danny, some riders are susceptible to suffering from arm pump. Bailey Malkowitz is not a rider who normally suffers from arm pump, but what it comes back to is when you don't have much riding time, so he hasn't had any seat time between the last round of Gilman and here. So when he gets on the bike, he's not too comfortable. What's the first thing that goes when you're not comfortable? You hold on too tight with your hands. Your arms pump up, and that's what he's obviously seeing. On a track like this that's as technical as it is with all these ruts, so easy to pump up.
Yeah, the ruts bring in a lot of arm pump. I know from my point of view, same deal. If I wasn't feeling comfortable, I was one of those riders that certainly took effect of the arm pump itself. So, yeah, one of those things that you have to really deal with. And when you're not on the bike, you're not feeling comfortable, 100%, that could be a big factor. But here we see Reese Budd still climbing his way through the field. And he looks like he's got himself another pass made.
He's riding exceptionally well. Reese Budd is, you can see, he's charging really, really good at the moment. He's just trying to get another position up there past his very, very good friend Bailey Malkowitz. So both riders you normally wouldn't expect to be quite that far back, that is for sure.
Noah Ferguson, again, looking to this line. I think it's been like 4 or 5 laps that he's attempted this. And this time, for sure, the pass is going to be made. Oh, Ferguson, medical flag. So all riders having to slow down through here. I was wondering why he backed off for a moment, and it was because of this. And that is Burns down
Chandler
in that corner.
Burns still down. I'm thinking potentially a knee or an ankle, but either way, it could be a lower leg, like a Luke Clout fib situation. Only speculation at the moment, but let's hope. I know Chandler Burns is as tough as they come. He's as tough as nails. So for him to be laying down and not willing to get back up, it's something semi-major. As we just saw, Noah Ferguson trying his absolute best to make his way past that rider.
Barham is the rider behind him, and an elapsed rider just in front of him, holding him up just momentarily, but I'm sure that pass will come here in a second. He'll have some clear track again to keep moving forwards. As we see, just looking on the left-hand side of screen at the Pirelli leaderboard, Ferguson Constantino is only 2.1 seconds behind Cosford, so there's a potential he may even get up there into third place by the time this race is finished.
Yeah, and that's the way that Jai Constantino needs to look at this, Danny, is, hey, fourth place is far and above my best result that I've had. However, I'm a factory rider and I've got a privateer ahead of me in third place. I need to try to get up into that third spot.
Our leader, Wilson Todd, still commands 5.9 seconds over Jesse Dobson in second place. Cosford there in third place. Constantino in fourth. Ferguson fifth. Barham, Buds, Malkowitz, who we see on screen, all battling it out right now. There's Hugh McKay there on the 46 machine. He puts himself up one in front of Malkowitz as they continue through. It's a Yamaha sea of bikes at the moment. But to the inside, can he make this pass and get himself up another position? And it certainly looks like he's going to right now.
Yes, nice move there from Reese Budd, continuing to charge his way through and make his way up to sixth place. Hands out, everyone letting each other know we're slowing down here, doing the right thing. What a freight train of riders coming through here as Chandler Burns' bike gets wheeled away, and devastating news for the privateer Honda rider. But what a battle continuing between our two privateers, Jace Cosford and Caleb Barham at the moment.
Down into the right-hand turn, we see Reese Budd charging towards that finish line. The last lap board is out, so they are quite considerable amount behind our race leader. And speaking of the man himself, there he is, Wilson Todd. What a lonely ride, but a superb ride at the same time for him, as he has commanded this lead. 5 seconds for nearly the entirety of this race as he works through the center of this track. Blast down into this corner for the final time.
Great ride for Wilson Todd. The Honda HRC factory rider has done exactly what he planned to do. He has got a sensational start and he has checked out, got himself a nice little 5-second gap, which he has kept his main arch rival, Jesse Dobson, at bay. A nice, consistent gap throughout the whole race. He's negotiated his way past lapped riders. He's made his way through some of the deepest, gnarliest ruts that we have seen so far throughout the ProMX Championships, and it is all looking very nice at the moment as we've got just under half a lap to go for Wilson Todd coming through.
Round this right-hander for the final time. Todd's bike, the Honda HRC Honda Bike 20, looking very comfortable at the moment down towards this final turn, and he is set to get another perfect day on the scoreboard as he makes his way around the final one and towards the finish line. A perfect day for the Honda rider and extends his championship lead.
Getting a little freestyle on us there.
What a day for him, as we see a few of the other riders battling it out to the finish line. Dobson came across there in second place, and looking at our scoring, Constantino did do the work.
Found his way up to third place. Fantastic. He maybe needs a two-position penalty a little more often to fire him up and get him out there and do that. So what a great job from the young Victorian. And let's hope we see a bit more of that in the future from him. Jace Cosford holding on for fourth place, and Noah Ferguson in fifth as the crowd takes it all in here at Maitland. They've just played witness to a fantastic race there from this man, Wilson Todd, who continues to control this championship. A little bit of a knuckles there from Jesse Dobson, but he knows he really wanted to get in there and battle.
I tell you, he may not have got the win today, but he's certainly got to take away from this weekend. Such a great ride. As we look at the Pirelli results for the MX2 class, Wilson Todd, of course, Jesse Dobson, Jay Constantino with a great ride up there to third, Chase Cosford, and Noah Ferguson back there in fifth.
Reese Budd, what a charge from the very back of the pack all the way up to sixth place. Caleb Barham, seventh. Bailey Malkowitz, eighth. Hugh McKay, ninth, and Haruki Yokoyama, out of being well outside of the top 25, made his way right up into the top 10.
There was some big efforts there to get those final places, like Yokoyama, like Reese Budd. Yes, it's not the result he wanted, but it was a huge ride just to get there. And I saw on the footage there as Reese Budd came over, the anger in his hand. He was absolutely throwing his hands down onto the handlebars. So definitely not the day he wanted, but man, he's got to take away such good rides as well.
In P3, Jai Constantinu from Empire Kawasaki, congratulations. A few mistakes there, but and a penalty, but you came through with the end and got a P3.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked to finally have a half-decent moto. I was just riding terrible at the start and had a tip over, but I dug deep all moto and yeah, got to third, so I'm stoked to be up here and been putting in a lot of hard work with Ross Beaton, my trainer, and yeah, I just can't thank the team and my family enough for all their support. I'm stoked to be up here.
Great, congratulations, Jai. And in P2, Jesse Dobson. No, we did see a small mistake from you earlier in the race, but you also pulled through and got yourself a podium.
Yeah, I just went into that second turn off the start too hot, and I was trying to be a hero, and I caused a bit of a pile up. So I think Reese and a couple other boys got held up in that. So sorry to those guys, but yeah, overall it was a good race. I tried to chip away at Wilson, but you know, he's riding really good at the moment, and you know, I'm happy I'm back on the podium. It's kind of been a tough last couple of weeks. So being back on the podium, I'm really happy with that. But you know, I want more. So, but massive hats off to the whole Circo Yamaha team, RP Filters, Alpine Stars, Seven, Matt McKeever, U-Foods, Pingelli Trucks, everyone that helps me. A massive thank you to those guys and my support team too.
Fantastic, well done, Jesse. And in P1, another perfect weekend for you, Wilson Todd from HRC. I guess talk us through how the track was out there because it looked quite slippery.
Yeah, it was pretty mentally challenging, you know, like the whole time out there. You couldn't switch off at any stage, you know, like it's rock hard, but there's also like grooves in the hard packed dirt, so you couldn't really cross like whatever line you want really, like you'll just wash the front out, so you had to be switched on the whole moto, and but I was happy I was able to, so.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. We've got to Coffs Harbour next, so you're probably going to be pretty dangerous in Queensland.
Yeah, I hope so.
What a day of racing here for the MX2 class. 3 rounds to go. Can anyone catch Wilson Todd and put a challenge to him as he extends that lead? Look at the lead on that. 243 over 160 for Reese Budd, who had a bad round this time. Malkowitz 149, Dobson 148, and Ferguson 133. So points are still close for those minor positions. They are not sorted just yet. Again, 3 more rounds to go, but there's still plenty of points still be made up.
Well, what a day's racing we have just witnessed here at Maitland for round 6 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships presented by AMX Superstores. On behalf of myself, Lee Hogan, Danny Ham and Kate Peck, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next at round 7 of the championship as we head further north to Coffs Harbour in New South Wales. Goodbye for now.